In-game live on a Tuesday night. This is a bit of a big addition here because we take one step closer to the college football season, the NFL season. That always matters. We have a nice baseball board, a really fun one, actually, to break down. 3 WNBA games. You could probably poke around and find a soccer match as well. But I always think it's exciting when a new future gets placed. And I was in between, and I placed a World Series future actually today. Really about a half hour ago, I stepped up to the plate. And if you're here, looking at these odds. Yeah.
I'm gonna read your mind, Kevin. I'm like the Miz guy, the mystic guy that goes on the shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the football teams. I can read your ATM number. Yeah, the odds. Yeah, odds. Don't tell me you did it. You put a future in on the Seattle Mariners?
Yes, I did, Gabe. Yes, I did.
Am I good or what?
Yes, I did.
Am I good or what?
I'm talking about.
Anyone, put your hand up, lie detector. I don't even speak to Kevin off the air, right? There was no.
No.
I can't lie. I see everything. I'm like a cop. I see, I'm watching, right? I'm watching the streets at all times.
Yep.
I saw Kevin get excited by Cal Raleigh going off last night for 3 home runs. And you're thinking, all right, here it is. I'm buying in now.
I got to tell you.
I should be a bookie. I should be your bookie. Right away, I'd tell my guys, hey, listen, that Walsh kid's going to bet on the Mariners in about 20 minutes. Lower the odds. Yeah. For him.
Exactly. That's why I had to poke around. I had to find the best number here. I got a 40-1, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. The Cal Raleigh 3 home run performance is what pushed it over the edge. Considerations had been in already, but a 4-game hit streak for Cal Raleigh is the equivalent of about a 20-game hit streak for everybody else. He has now hit 4 home runs in 4 games. This is still a Mariners team with a pedigree pitching staff. They call up the kid, Kate Anderson. Everybody's super excited. But there's one thing that Seattle has going for them that a team like Toronto does not. And it's that Seattle can win their division. The American League West remains an absolute disaster. In first place, it's the Rangers at bang 500. The Astros with no interest in winning this thing. And if Seattle get up to the 3 seed, or by miracle, the 2 seed, they avoid all of those AL East teams that we talk about. And we talk about easy schedules. To put into context, the Toronto Blue Jays do not play a single team above 500 the rest of the season. The Mariners have an easier schedule. The Mariners play 14 games, Gabe, against the Athletics and Angels. 14! That's half of the games remaining. They play against the Athletics and Angels.
You know what? And I brought this up yesterday from the Blue Jays perspective. And I said, all right, good for you. You got 30 games left, and none of them have a winning record. Neither do you. And a classic example is Kansas City Royals. They don't have a winning record, Kevin, but they're smoking hot right now.
Absolutely.
Right? They're one of these teams, 8 in a row, 8 of the last 9, etc. So the Blue Jays are getting the Royals, who are starting to think, you know what? There's 30 games left. We can go on a hot streak right now. I do agree with your take. I'm not running to the window to bet on the Mariners, but you are right in the sense the teams around them, right? The Blue Jays are dealing with a wild card race right now. They're not dealing with a division race, right? You look at the American League West, and suddenly the Houston Astros, Kevin, have lost 6 of 10. Big night in baseball tonight, right? We're getting to the point of the year right now. These games matter. Players don't look at the standings in June. They don't look at the standings in May. Players are starting to look up at the scoreboard during games now and stuff, right? Like, oh, yeah, hey, look, Baltimore's losing. Like, they're starting to pay attention to this stuff, and everybody's starting to play each other right now. There's no more, we still have time. It's like, no, we got to win this series. I told you that last week. It's not about sweeping series. It's about winning a damn series. No one's going to win. Oh, yeah, we're going to win 13 in a row. It's like, no, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. And by the end of the month, we're going to be 20-10, right? That's the way you got to approach this. Who's going to be the ones to do it? I'm fascinated to see, Kevin. Can the Blue Jays get back on track? They haven't lost a series in forever. The Yankees took 2 or 3. They're hosting the Royals tonight. But got Max Scherzer on the hill here, Kevin. And This isn't Max Scherzer from, 10 years ago, bro. He's a hard guy to trust, to be honest. And I don't bet a lot of overs, guys. I think it's a higher scoring game tonight if the Jays bats show up, Kevin. But give me a run in the first inning, yes. I say it's going to be a run in the first inning of this Blue Jay Royal game. Give me the over 8. It was 8.5. It's 8 right now. Give me the 8, over 8. And let's go with the Toronto Blue Jays to find a way to win on their home field.
All right, so a Toronto play, was in, and that's one of the other things I did just kind of to just drive home the point here on Seattle. Not that I'm going to spend the whole show talking about the Mariners, but the reason why a team like the Mariners is shorter than these other teams is the divisional out, right? That's why, we've had these Blue Jays debates, and when you're like, it doesn't matter how much Toronto are back of, or it doesn't matter where Toronto are in the American League East picture, they're not trying to win the American League East. They're trying to grab a wild card spot. It does matter for the Seattle Mariners that they're only 3 back of the Texas Rangers, right? That this team is 2-1 to win a division, because that is such a game changer. And then just simply, and I'm wondering if you agree with this, Gabe. So let's say I could add 14-1 to win the American League East, to win the American League, excuse me. I'd rather triple the ticket and play the World Series number. For me, I'd rather.
That's super bold when you consider they've never won a World Series before.
Oh, absolutely. But I think if they get to if I bet the American League ticket, there's going to be a part of me interested in hedging against a Rays, a Yankees, a whomever, where I'd much rather take 40-1 and then tuck my tail when they're playing the Dodgers, Braves, or Brewers. And I have a 40-1 ticket instead, which is a much easier position to get out of.
I'd like to know what it was, and it wasn't that long ago, actually. You and I talked about it. We didn't talk about the 22-0 game. But we talked about, because I think that might have been in a weekend or whatnot, but we talked about the 50th anniversary and the celebration at home, and it got swept. Remember, they got lit up, and might even be by the Athletics went in there and beat them.
The Rays? I think it was the
it was the Rays. My bad. The Rays took them 4 straight. Yeah, it was a 4-game series. They got beat up. Then they lost the game 22-0, and I'm in the Pacific Northwest. So I see the Mariners coverage, and I got a lot of Mariner fans on my timeline, Seahawk, Mariners, Bills, whatever. Like, there's certain fan bases that I know well, and they gave up on the season, bro. It was done. Like, that was
of course.
You could find so many messages. That's it. When do the Seahawks kick off? It's over.
Yeah.
Rock bottom, 22-0. And remember, it was the Rodriguez play. Rodriguez threw the ball into the stands. Well, so for people who don't know, it was freaking 20-0 at the time, or 19-0. But one of those deals, Rodriguez, the bases were loaded, pop fly to center field, 1 out. Rodriguez turns around, throws the ball into the stands. Right? We've seen a lot of that over the last couple of weeks. Guys are sort of checked out a little bit. I saw, a great story. Larry Walker just got a statue in Colorado. But Larry Walker famously did it. He caught the ball and he threw the ball into the stands, Kevin, and the inning wasn't over. And he saw, runners taking off, and he told the fan, give me the ball back, give me the ball back. And the fan did. Kevin, the fan did right away. The fan did, and Walker threw it in. It was one of the best things. Walker's like, give me the ball, give me the ball. But he throws it back to him. He throws it. The classic baseball moment. And then, we have a potential National League Championship Series preview with the Atlanta Braves hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight as well. And Tyler Glasnow is back on the hill.
Back.
9 strikeouts at his rehab start in the minors. Went 4 innings, 9 Ks type thing.
Tyler Glasnow is a very talented pitcher. This is an outrageous number. -150 in Atlanta in your first start back. In Atlanta.
Wild.
Yeah, right, dude.
A word on the street is Ohtani's pitching Sunday. Just saying, Dodger haters.
Baseball fever, nice to see on a Tuesday night. World Series tickets flying. We've got the NLCS preview, according to Gabe. Gabe, I played the Braves. I simply cannot imagine a world where you're stepping up and laying minus 150 in Atlanta. I know you like betting the Dodgers. Come on,
I am.
Dude.
And you know what? At first I was hesitant. Before I saw the number, Kevin, I was hesitant. I was like, all right, Glasnow's back. All right, it's kind of a tough spot for him to drop him in the ATL. Talk about you and I talk. Let's look for a softer landing here spot for him. You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying like that. Yeah, so that's why I think so. I'm like, really? Huh? You guys, all right? He's back. All right, we're playing a big series on the road. We're giving you the ball, Tyler.
Yep.
In Atlanta. Then I'm realizing, you know what? He's good to go. They're not doing this if he's not good to go. They know he's good to go. And there's been a lot of talk in Dodger Nation, actually. We talked about it with some of the injuries to the other guys that this was part of a master plan. And Snell could have come back a lot sooner. The Glasnow could have come back sooner. That this is all, and I've told you, this is all built for November, bro. It's not built for people panicking because the Dodgers didn't cover their run line bet in June, right? They don't care. They don't care. This is about having the best possible lineup. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Will Smith is suddenly healing, Kevin. It's like Will Smith's return is going to be a little bit accelerated as well. Dodgers have won 6 of their last 7. And, we talk about buying into the number. Put it this way. How come this game isn't a pick 'em? Honestly, with the Braves here on the road. How come it's not minus 105 or something like that?
Can I tell you guys, this is the beautiful thing about sports betting.
They're trying to scare people off the Dodgers tonight, guys. The number is too high for a reason. They don't want to set it too low.
I am not saying that isn't a fair opinion. What I'm saying is this is how people numbers don't lie. Yeah. No, because here's the thing. The simple other take is the Dodgers are getting too much respect. Give me Atlanta. There's a ton of value on that number, right? So it's either
they are begging you to bet on Atlanta. That's what they're doing. They're begging you to bet on Atlanta.
That's totally fine. And I view it in the lens of I'm getting a great number on Atlanta.
I'll put it this way. I would rather listen to the Kiss record, The Elder, than bet on Elder again. And you know what? I don't know how much of a music historian you are. That record sucked, okay? By the way, I guess we have to get to it. Dolly Parton passed away earlier in the day. A true icon. True icon that nobody dislikes. What can you say? Nobody can say a bad word about Dolly. Rest in peace, Dolly Parton.
Rest in peace, Dolly Parton. Couldn't agree more. I actually spoke to my mom. She's like, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I was like, "I didn't know I was supposed to." But so Dolly Parton, rest in peace. A lot of love in the Walsh household. And
Kevin's more aware when former WWE wrestlers pass away than country music singers.
It's not inaccurate. That's not inaccurate. But I'm feeling attacked in the moment. I'm not sure what I did wrong. But listen, shout out Dolly Parton. Not enough people are saying it apparently. I will say this, and listen, we're never ever going to overreact to anything the Dodgers do, really. But they were objectively not playing good baseball.
That's all people do is overreact to things they do. That's all people do.
I guess, here's my point, though, Gabe.
I just want to say this. I'm glad that you are not interested in the business side of sports and all that stuff bores you. Because there really is a lot of weird stuff going on, now including with your boy. And I don't know how, just of course, now suddenly LeBron is tied into this.
Come on, dude. How is it his fault again? It's always his fault. Now you got now you but what? It's his fault that he left the Lakers high and dry or something.
No, when he went to the Lakers, he borrowed $300 million from the owner of the Dodgers, and now this loan is being disclosed in this. It's really like LeBron, and you know what? Rich people borrow money all the time. Yeah, like I said, but behind the scenes, and I say this as a Dodger fan, there's more than smoke going on here. There's more than smoke. You know what I mean? We've got a fire in the backyard. We got a fire in the basement, and our front lawn looks very beautiful and people can't see. But I guarantee you, behind the scenes, there are a lot of people that are wondering what's going to come next. What's the next surprise move with this ownership group who is under a heavy investigation right now from the SEC, everybody. I'm just bringing that up, right? So And I bring this up and saying I'm glad that Kevin's not into that stuff at all because it's out of it's out of the way. It's all about baseball right now.
That's almost impossible to do. That is almost an impossible thing to do. I had no idea about a $300 million loan. I really still don't know. Okay. Here's what I do know.
Yeah,
the Dodgers,
people,
they only covered the run line twice. It'd be interesting to see how they look here in Atlanta. That's what I'm interested in. They didn't look good against the Brewers. It's fine. It's a 3-game series or a 4-game series, but Glasnow, Sasaki, Yamamoto, you'll take that.
This is real. Yeah, this is real in the sense that they have admitted it's real, right? Dave Roberts said we're playing like we're a wild card team, right? They have won 6 or 7. They've been a little bit hot right now. It was a big series with the Brew Crew. They lost the series. So I do agree. Am I going to cry if they don't win the series against the Braves? No. But, this is a little mini preview. But let's be real. Out of most of the games tonight, like this has, you're playing for a seed, I guess, and stuff, but it's not the same as some of these teams battling for a wild card spot, Kevin. You know what I'm saying?
So this is why that was exactly my point about overreacting to the Dodgers. Gabe, they could get swept. Who cares? They're going to win the NL West.
I guess the biggest storyline is how does Glasnow look tonight? Yeah. Really, if you really want to get into it. How does Glasnow look tonight? Of course.
And even that, if we're being honest, if he looks amazing, it's scary. If he looks bad, okay, it's his first start back in Atlanta. What'd you want?
Well, how about Andy Paz getting hurt now, too, right? The Dodgers have been, they're not immune to injuries. So that
it has been a part of this if we can call it a dynastic run, which I think we can, injuries are a part of this dynasty. Like they are very rarely the healthiest team in Major League Baseball.
Which is very impressive.
It is interesting
that they find a way. That depth. That next man up mentality. So Ohtani swung at the first pitch and grounded out.
Well, and now
Freddie Freeman just popped out to left field. So Meek first 2 at bats.
college football buzz still in the air, but just quickly, Gabe Morency, 1-0 on the baseball board, runs due to the Kansas City Royals to open it up against Toronto. And really a perfect little formula there, Gabe. Because it could have been like you holding Toronto, it could have been a 4-run inning, bases loaded, nobody out to start. To get the 1 run in, you win a bet, Toronto still right, in the money. So a nice little start there for you on that baseball board.
And how about this as well? I don't like the term equity. We talked about it, but I didn't understand the move. It was 8.5 earlier in the day. It went down to 8. Just for the record, we only had 1 run in the top of the first inning. Total 9.5 now. 9.5 now.
Oh, that is
I just
interesting.
get the feeling, that's pretty high number. If you want to fade it, it's 9.5, 135 to the under, plus 105 to the over at 9.5. And yesterday, we did well with baseball as well. We were on the Rays, we were on the Red Sox. That under hit. The Red Sox were plus 500. The under 6.5 hit. It ended up finishing at 6. But another low-scoring game tonight, guys, in South Florida with the Red Sox and Marlins. We're going to the top of the 4th inning right now, and the total's all the way down to 5.5 right now.
I'm still a little annoyed at you for that one. You didn't have to go and be so correct about the in-game opportunity on Boston.
That was unbelievable yesterday. Plus 500. And then they ended up winning by 2 runs. They ended up winning by 2.
Sure did.
They won 4-2.
And we always appreciate
for people tuning in, guys.
There. Yeah.
For people that weren't with us, Kevin loves the extra inning games. You get the ghost runner, and the team at bat is always like minus 240 or something stupid. So you take the other team, you get out of it, and then the other team becomes like plus 180 or plus 160. So yesterday I said it was like the 8th inning. And I said, it's not really extra innings, but it kind of is. Like, it's a 2-1 game. You got a runner on second. There's no one out. Yeah. Like, it's one of these. And Miami scored. All right, so they put the run on the board. They take the 2-1 lead, and then they still had the bases loaded type stuff. And the Red Sox won as high as 500. And I said live on the show, you know what? They're a double play away from getting out of this, and they're only down by 1 run, and they still have 6 at-bats to go here, and they are the Red Sox. Boom, Red Sox end up winning the game 4-2. Didn't even go to extra innings. Like, they ended up winning 4-2 anyways.
Sure didn't. And again, I appreciate the people who send a tweet, but, I had the Marlins, and not like it was a major play, but it was like, just like watching it fade away. So people were like, wow, Gabe, awesome call. 5-1, hit it again, plus 250. Oh, I was like, oh my God, man. Again, I'm glad it made people money, but I'm just sitting there and people are recapping my Marlins loss. One more quick baseball story. We'll get to college in the next segment. You would have lost your mind. I was watching, Gabe, the end of the Padres-Pirates game, extra innings. I know somebody who needed the Padres to score 3 runs to close out a parlay. They had 2 runs going into extras. Bottom of the 10th, bottom of the 11th, bottom of the 12th. They couldn't score a run. 3 half innings. Man starts on second. They couldn't score a run. I couldn't believe my eyes. I could not believe my eyes with the San Diego Padres. And Gabe, they tried bunting. They kept trying to bunt, getting guys doubled off. They kept popping up the bunts. It was, I don't know, in that moment, it almost made me hate the Padres. I was like, this team doesn't understand baseball.
I've talked about that, in which I used to complain, how come you don't play fundamental baseball teams more? How come they don't bunt runners over? Modern players can't do it. You can't do it. You're better off letting him swing. At least you got to hope that Buddy's going to hit a home run or crank one into the gap or something like that.
Yeah.
He'll make contact. You ask him to bunt. He's going to hurt himself. He's going to get hurt. I broke my hand. It's like, dude, because you're not supposed to put your fingers on the other side of the bat.
Oh, man. Right? I got another good story for you.
Some of these guys,
the Little League World Series? Canada's playing an elimination game, by the way.
Yeah. They're from Vancouver.
They're playing South
that
Korea.
team.
Yeah. Gabe, they're playing South Korea. So Canada's pitching. The kid on South Korea is going
Little
to
Mountain.
bunt. But because they're like kids, like children, he's trying to bunt and he's going like this. He's like wiggling his head to throw the pitcher off. And in my mind, I'm like, if Gabe was watching and betting on Canada here, I wouldn't want to hear what he would have to say about this kid on South Korea.
Oh, if I was the pitcher on Canada, I would have thrown right at his face, like even as a kid.
I think
he was a kid. I'd have been like, all right, kid, you want to hang, you know what I mean? You want to hang your face over like that? You want to do this?
It was nuts. The pitcher threw 4 straight balls. I didn't blame him. The kid was throwing his whole head in the strike zone.
Yeah, some of these kids too. There was another kid last year, if you recall. He shrunk himself.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Like,
count.
seriously,
That
the kid's
count.
already like 4'8", guys, and he came up and he crouched down.
Yep.
And so nothing could be a strike. And the ump said, "Screw you." The
big
kid
guys
threw.
like us.
Yeah, no, but the ump said, "No, you're not getting away with this." And there were strikes. The kid kept throwing pitches.
Good. All right, so we want to talk college. And Gabe, I want to ask you, okay? I know there's a lot of Heisman stuff you want to get to, but how interested are you in the SEC ruling that just came down 20 minutes ago? The Big Ten did this a couple hours earlier. They're not the only ones, but I'm not scared of calling it the LSU rule, who just found out that like RJ Lewis is not going to be on that team. And the like 4 Ole Miss guys that were on practice squads are not going to join Lane Kiffin and LSU. How interested are you in kind of this ruling coming down?
Well, this is, listen, college sports is such a Pandora's box right now. Lane Kiffin did an interview earlier today with Pat McAfee, and he had a point in which he basically stated you can't pick and choose which court injunctions you want to abide by. All right, it was a very legal, technical term in which he put it. It was well thought out. Lane's a smart guy. Like, you know what I mean? He's a smart guy. So, like, he sort of had it out. Because he basically goes, I don't think pros should be playing. And then he went off, and he sort of went down another road, and he twisted it up, and he kind of put it in a way that, yeah, I guess he's right. Like, he was very, like I said, he's compelling. He's a good interview. He knows how to sort of spin things. But the Big Ten basically passed this unanimously instantly. It literally took them 10 minutes. For people who don't know, the Big Ten's like the U.S. Supreme Court. Like, they don't get along at all, the Big Ten. Like, there's a lot of different people on different pages. They argue about everything. Michigan's trying, it's almost like FIFA. Michigan hate the commissioner. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, like, the Big Ten. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the schools in the Big Ten don't get along and agree on a lot of things. This they did right away.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you, has there, and I could be wrong, Kevin, but has there been a situation like this that hasn't involved the SEC? Like, the Big Ten's never done this. Like, what was the basketball player last year on Arkansas? On Arkansas, it's the same damn thing.
The Bama kid.
Bama, my bad. Alabama, so whatever.
Oh,
SEC.
yeah.
It was same crap. Like when Nate Oates, right? They brought the kid back from the G League and the NBA. So Lane Kiffin says, well, if others are going to do it, it's like, no, only you guys are doing it in your conference. And I think that Greg Sankey, who is very sanctimonious and is sort of the unofficial, commissioner of college football, Kevin, the head of the SEC, right? And what he likes to think that he is, he basically said, oh, we're totally against this, just like the Big Ten is. But from what I understand, and Pete Thamel reported, that state laws in the South are different. That the SEC does not have the power to, now that could be an extreme cop-out, but that they don't have the power to mess with certain states and state laws. The Big Ten basically just said, no, you're not eligible for our league, point blank. Like, if you've ever signed a pro contract or played for a pro team, you're not eligible to play the Big Ten. It's pretty simple, right? And I think the Big Ten, too, let's be real, this is very political. The Big Ten really, really makes the SEC look bad now. The Big Ten owns college football suddenly. You want Notre Dame to step in, but right now, like, you know what I mean? It's been 3 years in a row. And the Big Ten's on a big run right now. The SEC's feeling it. Everyone's laughing at them. Everyone's mocking them. And I don't think the SEC wants to be looked at as like, wow, we need former NFL players to help us to actually beat the Big Ten. I think their public perception is a little freaked out. So they're going to say all the public things, but I don't see them legally stopping it, Kevin. They didn't do what the Big Ten did and say, no, this isn't happening.
So they just did. And that's kind of why I brought it up, Gabe. Like 45 minutes ago, they basically did, the SEC. And it passed unanimously. Basically, Gabe, what I do think is fair to say is they saw what the Big Ten did, and they're like, okay, we're gonna let's just not mess around.
I don't think it applies to everyone, though, Kevin, in the SEC.
I believe it applies to this kid DeQuan Wright. I believe, like, again, it's a lot of people looking at the LSU situations. That's what I believe is the case here.
Now we know that Mississippi was like behind a lot of this, right? Like Mississippi, they hate Lane Kiffin, so they're going to report it. Like I know they were really, really adamant. Like somebody was saying, they should be fined and kicked out of the conference. And right, no, according to the Colorado ruling, led multiple players.
I think again and again, like they're saying it passed 16-0, which almost basically shows that Kiffin was almost like look, if I can get away with it, I'm going to do it. But once everybody calls me out,
nothing when LSU just. Yeah, I know. I find it hard. It was 16-0 of LSU.
I almost think Gabe. I think it almost kind of shows that LSU knew exactly what they were doing. But they're like, okay, like we're not gonna do 15-1. Like that's fine. Like if no one can do it, it's fine, right? Like I think Lane.
My only question about this is no, and I don't dispute that. My only question about this is what was Pete Thamel talking about the state legal issues then earlier in the day?
Yeah, I think this has all changed very quickly. I think this has all changed very quickly, Gabe. This situation.
And as I stated too, so here's another one. Texas A&M. Texas A&M was bringing in a G League player this year, basketball. Right, like I said, it's only the SECs that doing this. Like I don't see Big 12, ACC teams aren't doing this. Big 10 teams aren't doing this. Big 12 teams aren't doing this, Kevin. It's SEC all the time.
But I think that's why, Gabe. So here's something that you kind of mentioned the other day. Right, of the idea like the Big Ten and the SEC breaking off on their own. And to me, I don't think the SEC looks bad in this. In my opinion, I think it's the NCAA who looks bad. You were about to have this influx of like NFL practice players hit college football, and in 24 hours, the Big Ten and the SEC unanimously voted against it. Yeah, the Big Ten took the lead on it. I'm not saying they didn't, Gabe, but the NCAA was powerless. So basically, the two big boys went, yeah, no, that's it. And now they're saying the ACC is going to meet on it, and by tomorrow, the ACC will fall in line. And the day after that, the Big 12 will fall in line.
But
this whole thing will get cleaned up.
But will it? Because I just, I don't understand from a legal perspective that a Colorado judge ruled that Wright could play, right? That he was eligible. So a Colorado judge declared this. I'm just saying that if they could find a judge in Colorado to agree with them, they're not going to be able to find a freaking judge in Arkansas, Louisiana, bro, in the South that's going to agree with them.
The thing is, Gabe, I think basically what they're almost trying to say now, Gabe, is they're taking it. I think they're saying the court decides nothing, we decide, and we, the league, are telling you it's not happening. And
yeah, but you're right. It's a fascinating policy change for a conference that just hours ago was saying, we just follow state laws.
Exactly. Because I think they know, Gabe, that's the thing. Like, they knew what was going on. And the second it got brought up to a vote, LSU was like, oh, we're all agreeing? I think basically what LSU was not going to let happen, Gabe, was the floodgates open and they were caught with their pants down. They're like, no. Until you
so how
tell
many
us
basketball
we can't
players
do this,
are they going to lose? Like, what's he doing, too, the basketball team?
Yeah, RJ Lewis is going to go have to play in Turkey or something. Like,
and
it's
even
just
the
what it
women's
is.
basketball team has controversy at LSU. They recruited a Russian player for whatever reason. They bring in a Russian player, but one of their best players is Ukrainian. So the Ukrainian player just split. And, of course, like Mulkey in her ultimate wisdom said, well, I thought that bringing them two together could end the war and bring peace. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you down there in Baton Rouge, people? Like, seriously. Yeah. Like, at what point, like, do you guys, like, look in the mirror and say, you know, are we going too far? Are we kind of like, but no, they're hell-bent on winning. And I'm fascinated to see, like, how this turns out, Kevin, right? Do you think Lane Kiffin, will he ultimately win a national championship there? He's probably got about 3 years to do it.
I think yes. I don't think he has the quarterback to do it this year, but history says you win championships at LSU unless your name is Brian Kelly. Like, sometimes people don't talk enough about how much better Notre Dame has gotten since Brian Kelly left. Yeah, but Ed Ogeron can't even get a job. And Ed Ogeron coached maybe the best college team anybody's ever seen.
I think he's back with LSU now, actually.
It's usually a two-horse race. Houston or Jacksonville, with Indy on the outside looking in. We're going to find out, I think, rather quickly in the first month because the scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. And do yourself a favor. Now is the time to start prepping. You talk about contests, Craig, right? Survivor is all about planning.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
I do not think that history suggests the best thing for a quarterback is to start week one. Obviously, you need reps, but we have seen guys sit and benefit from it. I think Anthony Richardson might have a completely different, couldn't have been any worse if the Colts didn't play him his rookie season as the rawest quarterback ever drafted. Like, that didn't help.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Ohtani, he's going to be the MVP. The PCA argument, I completely understand. If he ends up winning it, I'm not going to be surprised. I do think it'll be somewhat of the fatigue as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking back, Tom, you and I, 10 years and talking about a player in baseball doing what Ohtani's doing and not winning the MVP. I mean, it seems crazy to me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Back on SportsGrid, in-game live, Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. So let's take, instead of, legal battles and, NFL players, let's talk about the guys that are in college, the guys that could produce in college. And Gabe, I know you were doing some Heisman Trophy research last night, kind of really ramping things up about what it takes to win this award. The favorites are the quarterbacks on the teams that everybody thinks will be in the college football playoff, right? CJ Carr, Notre Dame, March Manning, Texas, Darian Mensah, Miami, Dante Moore, Oregon, Julian Sain, Ohio State. Like those are the names that you see here at the top. Talk to me a little bit about maybe what your research said to you, how maybe you would advise people to get involved here with this market.
It's easy to easily get attracted to a lot of these names, right? And CJ Carr is going to have a great year, but the odds just aren't there. Arch Manning, this sort of sets up very well for Arch for a Heisman run, opens up the season with Ohio State, opportunity to get a big-time win, and then sort of rack up some stats and some W's along the way, plus the media is going to want to like him. Media loves something that, that I've dug into that I've realized with this is the media really loves the comeback stories, right? The redemption stories, right? The media loves, they built Arch Manning up, they took him down, and now he comes back up, and now they can all say, oh, we told you he was going to be great, right? So there's that sort of, there's a lot of different ways of looking at it, but the numbers don't lie, guys, and I wanted to back it up because I said, we sort of off the cuff yesterday started talking about the Heisman. I said, the favorite doesn't win this thing ever. It's always like someone that no one's ever thinking about. And I said, I'll get some numbers to back it up for you. Guys, the last Heisman favorite to win the trophy, Marcus Mariota, 2014. 2014. Marcus Mariota is the last one, the last preseason favorite to win the trophy. To put in context, Kevin, and last year, guys, it's not like Mendoza came in like totally, out of, from space here. He was 55-1 before the season started. So it was plus 5,500. I actually thought it would have been a little bit higher. But, there was some pedigree there coming from Cal. Curtis Rourke, Nathan Rourke's brother in the CFL. Curtis Rourke now in the 49ers did put up some big numbers there as well, right? So it was sort of that. That's why I think Hoover's kind of being slept on a little bit. But
can I just quickly, Gabe, just to add to your Mariota context, though? Yep. Can I just add to your Mariota context of here's what the favorite, right? Here's what he had to do to win it as the favorite. 42 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
Wow.
4,500 passing yards, 800 rushing yards, and 15 rushing touchdowns. Oh, and he caught a touchdown. So he basically needed 5,000 yards and 60 total touchtowns.
That's hell of a year. Hell of a year that he had. Like, wow.
Yeah. By the way, he went second to Jameis Winston.
Wow. Hell of a year. But it's funny because we're talking about how it's not the favorite, but at the same point in time, you need to win games. You need to win games to win the Heisman. That's just a fact, right? So 16 of the last 21 Heisman Trophy winners have been quarterbacks, just for the record. So it's a quarterback award right now. But this was interesting to me. The average Heisman winner has just lost 1.25 regular season games. Yet 2/3 of the Heisman Trophy winners have started the season outside of the top 5 in the AP poll, like their teams. So you sort of want that sweet spot that are sort of lingering in that Trinidad Chambliss, right? Sort of coming in, what do they rank? 7th, 8th, whatever the hell it is, 9th, you know what I'm saying? Sort of like that sort of soft spot. They have a chance to win games. Because, honestly, Trinidad Chambliss goes out there and can Trinidad Chambliss win the Heisman, in your opinion, with a 9-3 record? I don't think so.
He'd have to have a Marcus Mariota level season, right?
10-2 can get you there, Kevin. 10-2 gets you there. 10-2 gets you there. 10-2 playoff team. We made the playoffs. We went 10-2, and I had an amazing statistical year at quarterback. You can win, right? You can win. But let's not forget, a lot of these teams sort of knock each other off, right? There's not room for Mississippi and Texas right at the podium here. You know what I'm saying? There's sort of like some of these guys will knock each other off along the way. But that's something that really caught my eye there. So the average Heisman winner has only lost 1.25 regular season games. So let's call it 11 wins. You want to be on a 10-11 win team here, right? So to me, That's my one hang-up guy with the guy that I like so much out of USC and Jaden Maeva. All right, if USC get to 10 wins, I think he can win, Kevin. If USC gets to 10 wins, and you know if they get 10 wins because this kid has a massive season, I think he's in play here. I think Hoover at 14-1 is being slept on. He's being slept on. And another theme, and I want to throw this to you. Look at recent winners, Kevin. They're all transfers their first year in the programs. Mendoza wins the Heisman first year in his program. Caleb Williams wins the Heisman in his first year in the program. Who's the other one? There's a third one.
I guess that was Travis's second year, right?
Yeah, Hunter. But no, there was another quarterback in the first year though that transferred and won the Heisman right away in his first year in the system. But Hoover is a guy, big time quarterback, guys. Hoover was a big time quarterback for TCU. Now he's in a system here, and we've talked about it. Cignetti's kind of that coach that runs the score up on people. Just won a Heisman Trophy last year. 14-1 is enticing to me for Hoover. I think people are sleeping on him. My two picks, though, Kevin, Trinidad Chambliss 12-1, and Jaden Maeva at 25-1.
So I think it's a really fascinating breakdown. I think this, kind of what do you need? What is the criteria, right? Because we had Jaden Daniels won it on a team that wouldn't have made the playoff in a 12-team format, but he had 5,000 yards and
strange.
touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
and everyone was just in love with it, and I truly believe he didn't deserve the award.
I think winning means less to the modern voter, though. Look at Travis Clark.
Gabe, last year was all about winning, right? It was, the Big Ten title game decided the Heisman Trophy. One of those two quarterbacks was going to go unbeaten and win the award. Nobody cared about Pavia and the numbers. That wasn't how you were going to get the job done. So I think it's interesting to find that blend.
I know you're going to want to say no, but are we sleeping on Darian Mensah?
Do you think Darian Mensah? See, can I just say this? I don't think this is like me hating Miami. I don't think Darian Mensah is better than Carson Beck.
That's what we're going to find out. I mean, it's coming from Tulane and Duke. You're right. It's a step up.
It's usually a two-horse race. Houston or Jacksonville, with Indy on the outside looking in. We're going to find out, I think, rather quickly in the first month because the scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. And do yourself a favor. Now is the time to start prepping. You talk about contests, Craig, right? Survivor is all about planning.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
I do not think that history suggests the best thing for a quarterback is to start week one. Obviously, you need reps, but we have seen guys sit and benefit from it. I think Anthony Richardson might have a completely different, couldn't have been any worse if the Colts didn't play him his rookie season as the rawest quarterback ever drafted. That didn't help.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Ohtani, he's going to be the MVP. The PCA argument, I completely understand. If he ends up winning it, I'm not going to be surprised. I do think it'll be somewhat of the fatigue as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking back, Tom, you and I, 10 years and talking about a player in baseball doing what Ohtani's doing and not winning the MVP. I mean, it seems crazy to me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
on SportsGrid talking a little Heisman Trophy and kind of the battle of expectations. And I think this is a really fun market to follow. I will say I don't think CJ Carr is a great bet. I heard someone say, whose opinion I respect, if Notre Dame go unbeaten, this is Carr's award. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that just because Notre Dame go unbeaten, CJ Carr is going to throw for 45 touchdowns. I don't. We've talked about it quite a bit here on this show.
They're going to run the ball still. Yeah, they're going to run the ball still
for the Fighting Irish. So I think it's trying to find the blend of an exciting player who's going to have to put up some big numbers. I think Gabe's right. I think 9 wins is the floor to win the Heisman Trophy. I think you probably are going to want 10 to win that Heisman Trophy.
You know what it is, though, this year?
Taking a couple of shots. I don't hate taking shots down the board here, Gabe. Like Devin Williams we talked about.
Yeah. And I want to ask you that. I'll ask you, like, who favorite you take? And then I'll give a long shot, too, because I'm sort of giving mid-tier. You know, Chambliss isn't a hot take at 12-1. He is the 6th choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To me, though, guys, winning really matters more this year, I think, just because so many of these guys are on such good teams, right? Like out of the handful, like let's say the 12 guys here, the top 12, CJ Carr, Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith. So you've got Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State, Miami, Ducks, Oregon Ducks, Ohio State, Ole Miss, the defending champion Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah,
someone's going to have a good year, and someone's going to have a damn good record out of that group. So that's why it's kind of, it is challenging, but they're all sort of different in a way. Like Manning is kind of the guy, but it's plus 750. 2 guys I want to ask you about too. Gunnar Stockton, not getting any love because he's not a sexy guy, but he's been around forever and he's going to put big numbers up. And they're probably the best team in the SEC.
Gabe, if it would have unplugged all of my stuff, I would show you the laptop in front of me as I just pulled up the Gunnar Stockton page. Like, I think Stockton is being slept on in this market.
And a nice media story, Kevin. The older guy, worked for it. Yeah, he's not a big blue chipper. A guy rides a pickup truck, whatever, that whole classic story. The media likes that stuff.
He puts up more numbers than you'd think. He had 34 total touchdowns last year. That's not nothing.
Now he's more experienced and back with better talent now, too. Like, he is being slept on a little bit.
He really is the star of that offense. Like, there isn't a Brock Bowers. There isn't a Ladd McConkey. There isn't a James Cook. Like, it's really the Gunnar Stockton show. So if you're in on Georgia, being in on Gunnar Stockton, I would rather bet Stockton than Josh Hoover. I think Georgia will rely on Stockton more than Indiana will rely on Hoover. Like, I think
you check the boxes,
going to want to run the ball a ton.
They don't have a star running back, Georgia, like they used to. It used to be like, the Todd Gurley's of the world and, Herschel Walker's, etc. You know what I mean? They used to have wow, I can go on. Yeah. Robert Edwards and blah, 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 blah. Like, used to be like, wow, they got this stud running backs. The Cook, James Cook. Like I said, I'll shut up. I can go on and on. But like Dalvin Cook, whatever. Like, I can go on and on. But they don't have that now. If you'll notice the Georgia strength guys, especially like even Kevin, you can attest to this being an Eagle fan, the defensive side of the football, right? Like the Matt Staffords and the star, they used to have stars on offense. They haven't had a star on offense since Brock Bowers. Seriously. And when Brock Bowers got hurt, they sucked. Georgia led the college football and dropped passes, guys. How is that possible? We got a bunch of 4-star recruit, 5-star recruit receivers that can't catch the damn ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because now, you know why? Because we put all of our, like, we're really good at recruiting defensive linemen. We're really good at recruiting this, right? But, like, we're missing on these other guys. Say some schools just sort of miss at certain positions. But Stockton, a good call, but like in a sense that Stockton carries that football team offensively. He's the leader. He's the glue. He's the one. They don't have that name like, oh, my God, type of guy. And, 20-1. And the thing is, Georgia going to be in the mix late in the year. So we talk about the requisite of winning football games. And another thing is the story. I think the modern media guys, we talked about it with Deshaun Watson, like flexing, saying screw the fans as he adjusts his diamond rings and his watch and stuff. College, the media guys, they like that. Diego Pavia, they like that story, right? Gunnar, like I said, they don't like well, you know what? CJ Carr's going to be the first overall pick in the NFL anyways. You know what I mean? Cocky kid, good-looking kid. He already has it all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is that sort of, there is that mentality with this stuff. Now, a guy, you're going to go, oh, no way. It's funny how Lenore Seller stock has fallen. Hey, Kevin, over the years? Yeah. He used to be a favorite. He's 40-1 now. Yeah. My guy, Bryce Underwood, getting zero love. from anybody in the media. Why is he only 40-1? Like Marcel Reese, 30-1. Bryce Underwood said, did an interview last week. We'll talk about the other side. He did an interview last week, and he said he'll be disappointed if he's not invited to New York this year. That's his goal.
Fair to be disappointed.
It's usually a two-horse race. Houston or Jacksonville, with Indy on the outside looking in. We're going to find out, I think, rather quickly in the first month, because the scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. And do yourself a favor. Now is the time to start prepping. You talk about contests, Craig, right? Survivor is all about planning.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
I do not think that history suggests the best thing for a quarterback is to start week one. Obviously, you need reps, but we have seen guys sit and benefit from it. I think Anthony Richardson might have a completely different, couldn't have been any worse if the Colts didn't play him his rookie season as the rawest quarterback ever drafted. Like, that didn't help.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Ohtani, he's going to be the MVP. The PCA argument, I completely understand. If he ends up winning it, I'm not going to be surprised. And I do think it'll be somewhat of the fatigue as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking back, Tom, you and I, 10 years and talking about a player in baseball doing what Ohtani's doing and not winning the MVP. I mean, it seems crazy to me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live on a Tuesday night following the baseball board and getting you ready for the college football season. We're talking a little Heisman Trophy, and I guess this portion of the conversation was always coming. The Bryce Underwood Heisman.
Now, I didn't say he was going to win.
I have to back this up.
Well, you just said, he's going to be disappointed, but
Yeah, he's not going to New York. That's okay.
you can't automatically dismiss that. Now, the only reason I would say that he won't is Michigan football is never built around the quarterback. Like, it never has been, like, ever.
Okay.
Like, even when Tom Brady was there, it wasn't built around the quarterback. And, Drew Henson era a bit, like they, what I mean? They threw the ball more in those days, I guess. But, like, Michigan are, like, one of the creators of 3 yards and on a pile of dust. Like, that's what they are. And Kyle Whittingham is that guy as well. They're going to run the ball. Michigan have one of the best running back rooms in the country. They're going to run the ball a lot. But Bryce Underwood, Kevin, just 2 years ago was the biggest recruit in college football, right?
Yeah.
He ended up in a weird situation with Michigan that didn't coach him. He didn't have a quarterback coach. He didn't have anything. Like he was literally on his own, so much so that basically the offensive coordinator basically saw this and said, all right, listen, man, like, I didn't realize this. Chip Lindsey said, I didn't realize that you don't have anybody. Like, he goes, all right, I guess I'll do this with you. And they started doing it.
Yeah.
He's now had a full camp, bro, working with Detmer. He's working with some of the top quarterback coaches in the country. His footwork is completely fixed right now. He's a massive dude. There's a ton of upside with him. Now, the numbers aren't going to be there he wants to silence the critics, obviously, but it's interesting to me that Bryce Underwood is 40-1. Like, honestly, I think he should be like 75-1. Like, if I'm being real. And that's why, but the thing is, I respect the odds maker more than I respect my own opinion. I'm being honest, right? Like, so it's sort of like, well, he's 40-1 for a reason. Like, they're not like saying, no. Like, we're not going to get burnt on a 125-1. Like, you brought up Damon Williams.
Yeah.
50-1. Damon Williams is one of the top quarterbacks. Like, he's really good. Like, he won the Manning Academy. There's a big summer camp every year with all the best quarterbacks. Williams, won the Manning Academy last year. The skills competition and everything. Like, he won the MVP of the week and blah, blah. And they were like, all right, this kid's a monster quarterback. He's 50-1, Kevin. Bryce Underwood's 40-1. And nobody even likes Bryce Underwood. So it seems to me the only people who like Bryce Underwood are me and the odds maker.
Yeah, I think we're acting like 40-1 is 4-1. He's still 40-1 to win the award.
Let me reiterate. That's less than what Mendoza was last year, 55-1.
I understand that, but are you trying to say that the odds makers liked Mendoza to win the award? They didn't like Mendoza to win the award.
Yeah, Mendoza was a sneaky play last year, actually. And I'll give credit to a dude at CBSSports.com. There's Dylan Brooks sitting behind home plate at the baseball game in Toronto. Just for the record, I got caught off there, Kevin. I'm like, who's that?
All right,
Dylan Brooks crushing some hot dogs, actually. But yeah, 55-1, right? Like, so it's not crazy that one of these winners, the winner's going to come.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can be at 40-1. You can't win the award.
Okay, but I'm just saying. So at 40-1, but look at the other big name quarterbacks around him. Look at the big name guys around him. Marcel Reed, 30-1. Lenore Sellers, 40-1. Will Hammond, not a big-time quarterback, but a big-time team, is 40-1.
Yeah.
Dude, Williams Jr. should be 25-1 or something, but he's 50-1, right? You got Mestamaker at 50-1, who's going to have a big year. Rocco Beck, 50-1. Out of these type of guys, we talked about JKS, but Cal aren't going to win enough football games. So that's not going to happen.
I think Bryce is there because they respect the
Kevin.
Michigan football program, by the way. Like, at the end of the day,
well, they really don't. Their win total's 8.5.
Right, but I guess my point is, what's South Carolina's win total, Gabe? 6.5? And he has the same odds. It's basically, they're like, well, Michigan could make the playoff, right? So we're not going to plummet.
But if they make the playoff, it won't be because of the quarterback, though. I think Underwood will play well. But I don't, like I said, Michigan are built for their running backs.
He's going to win the Heisman.
So
I don't think he'll put up the numbers. So why?
I don't, but I think he has a very good year. I think he has a very good year. I didn't say he was going to win Heisman. I said his goal. He said that he wants. He said, I don't know if I win the Heisman. But he goes, I want to be in the conversation this year. But to me, it's about winning games. I don't care about Heismans, right? But to me, listen, if you really want to make an argument who can win the Heisman on Michigan, it would be Jordan Marshall, right? If you really want to get into it. But they don't give it to running backs. Like, they did like in the Alabama days. Like, look, Ahmad Hardy, bro.
The Hunter year, obviously.
Ahmad Hardy's one of the best players in the country, guys. Running back on the Missouri Tigers. He's 65-1. Right? Like, who's the top running back price here? There was another one that caught my eye.
Kawan Lacey, I assume, is probably in terms of running back prices.
Yeah, 90-1. 90-1.
And that's because they're giving Chambliss the edge because he plays quarterback. But the problem for Ahmad Hardy, Gabe, is he plays on Missouri, right? Like, that's the
I'm looking for one of these sort of like longer shots because they do happen, right? They do happen. I like that Dylan Raiola's 125-1. He's a backup.
A backup quarterback.
So you want to like take a shot on a backup? You know what though? Bold pick if Moore gets hurt in week 1 or something like that against Boise State.
I'll give you credit. It's a bold pick. I think Devin Dampier's being a little shortchanged at 80-1. Utah are still, second or third choice in the Big 12. Pretty soft schedule for the Utes.
How do Utah survive losing half their team and their coaching staff? I don't see it. Cam Coleman, wide receiver, 75-1. But Cam Coleman catches 13 passes for touchdowns this year. Arch Manning's the one that threw it to him. That's his problem.
Right. Yeah.
He can win the Biletnikoff award.
Jeremiah Smith didn't even get considered for New York last year, right? Like we saw
he's
that.
8-1. That's a terrible bet. I wouldn't bet Jeremiah Smith at 8-1.
I totally agree.
And we talked
Jeremiah
about Mensah a bit. You wanted this, I don't dismiss him, but thing with Mensah is, okay, listen, he started out at Tulane, ends up at Duke, and now it's okay. But now he's at Miami. So you sort of got to remember, all right, what was his original pedigree? What kind of quarterback is he? But kids are allowed to get better. It's not against the law to improve at your craft, right? And we saw the same thing with Cam Ward, right? Cam Ward started at Incarnate Word. Nobody wanted Cam Ward, right? He started in Incarnate Word. Nobody wanted him after that. He went to freaking Pullman, Washington, played for Washington State, okay? Ended up Washington State, finally ends up in Miami. Now they're number 1 pick in the draft, although struggling pretty mightily, actually, Kevin, this preseason, just for the record. Little curveball here for the NFL. People, J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, J.J. McCarthy's been called out a lot, but Cam Ward's Cam Ward can't complete a pass, Kevin, longer than 7 yards, bro. He's literally 0 for 25 in the preseason. He cannot throw the ball for whatever reason.
Yeah, Cam Ward owes Shedeur Sanders a couple thank you notes. You remember that? Everyone was like, how unfair is this to Cam Ward? First overall pick, nobody's talking about him. Everybody's talking about Shedeur. Cam Ward should say thank you. Cam Ward has been horrific every single step of the way so far in the National Football League. It's been awful.
He has been on a bad team. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt in a rookie year, but
Gabe,
got to see some improvement.
But you're bringing it up, and you're not wrong. We have these Ty Simpson and Carson Beck and Drew Aller moments in the preseason. Cam Ward looks just as bad in the preseason.
He looks.
At this point, they should play him against the 4th stringers. I keep him out there for a full game. Find a rhythm. Find confidence. Find something.
But he was a great college quarterback. So Mensah could put up a big number.
This ball found a way to choke that one away too.
It's usually a 2-horse race. Houston or Jacksonville, with Indy on the outside looking in. We're going to find out, I think, rather quickly in the first month, because the scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. And do yourself a favor. Now is the time to start prepping. You talk about contests, Craig, right? Survivor is all about planning.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
I do not think that history suggests the best thing for a quarterback is to start week 1. Obviously, you need reps, but we have seen guys sit and benefit from it. I think Anthony Richardson might have a completely different, couldn't have been any worse if the Colts didn't play him his rookie season as the rawest quarterback ever drafted. That didn't help.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Ohtani, he's going to be the MVP. The PCA argument, I completely understand. If he ends up winning it, I'm not going to be surprised. I do think it'll be somewhat of the fatigue as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking back, Tom, you and I, 10 years and talking about a player in baseball doing what Ohtani's doing and not winning the MVP. I mean, it seems crazy to me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Tuesday night on SportsGrid, in-game live. Let's just quickly jump over to your baseball board here. We're going to swing back to the college, of course. Brew Crew did take a lead up on the Mets. Yanks stole the lead back from the Astros due to a 3-run shot from the returning hero, Cody Bellinger. Cody came back over the weekend against Toronto, got a base knock, does it now here with a big fly against Houston. Detroit up 3-1 on the Rays. Yeah, why wouldn't you? We do have 1-1 in Kansas City and Toronto. That slowed down.
Really
and then
did.
the Braves holding on to a 3-2 lead against the LA Dodgers right now.
I think it's a positive sign if you're the Blue Jays and Max Scherzer didn't get lit up, got in trouble early in a baseball game, and settled down after the fact. I hate betting baseball overs. It's funny because I always bet every other sport over all the time, but baseball and hockey, I'm an under guy. And tonight I thought, it'll be runs here, run in the first inning. We got it was 1-1 early in this game. Total went up to 9.5, totally slowed down. Blue Jays have a runner on first. Jimenez is up right now. Then there's one out. A lot of baseball left, though. This game's kind of long. We're only in the bottom of the fourth inning right now, but some close games, as you stated. Yankees up 3-2. Braves got up 3-0 on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers responded with a couple of runs back. So we got a baseball game going on in the ATL. 3-2 Braves, top of the fourth. Dodgers runner on first right now. Nobody out. And the game's a pick 'em at -115. Total 11.5.
Oof, it's a big number. I'm a little frustrated. We talk about this in certain spots. Atlanta up 3-0. I don't like the Dodgers grab runs back that early. One thing I actually wanted to bring up, I know I'm bouncing around now a little bit. Good for the Golden State Valkyries, man. Instead of a 3-game losing
again,
streak,
Kevin, the Minnesota Lynx, I'm done with those girls.
Say,
I'm done.
I don't know if to say they have your numbers the right word, but you know what I mean?
Like
Something
them.
in that.
Why do they do this to me?
Something's going on, Gabe. Something's going on. Gabe, I think they've won like 18 of 20 games, and you've been on the 2 losses.
Yeah, and moneyline parlays. I've been on them a few other times, but a moneyline parlay it cost me, and they got lit up last night. And you know what just bothered me even more? Because I like Golden State. That's what bothered me more.
Yeah.
And I blame you for telling me they're 0-6 against these teams. Finally, they showed up last night.
You sound like Kofsky with the England national team at the World Cup.
No, they showed up last night. Golden State were hitting the 3 last night. They went on this big 13-0 run to start the fourth quarter, whatnot. It was they were up all night, but that was an impressive statement win, I tell you, for Golden State last night. Give them some confidence, Kevin, going into the playoffs. Reeve didn't freak out after the game because Olivia Miles struggled last night. I think she was 3 for 13 from the field. And she said, games like that are good for her. Things have been kind of easy. It'll toughen her up a bit. So it is what it is, but man, I got to tell you, Kevin, I wasn't sure about the team, but I watched them last night. And Angel Reese, her 26 rebounds. Uh-oh. I'm buying in. This Atlanta Dream team.
Come on down.
I'm starting to buy in.
Come on down. Yeah.
They keep getting better as the year goes on. Angel's getting
100%.
better.
100%.
They're long. They're lanky. They're physically tough. You got Howard, who is just a beast that can give you 20 in any night. She's going to get to the rim. She's going to do her thing.
Same with Alicia Gray. Just slide
Alicia Gray's a stud. Alicia's a stud. They got good team chemistry, and they're kind of mean, Kevin. You know what I mean? They're big, for a WNBA team. They're all sort of lanky and tall and elbowy and chippy and stuff, right? They're not an easy outback 100%. Team. 100%. The Fever, that we saw that battle, right? Sort of offense versus defense with the Fever and the Dream playing each other. I almost hope that they don't have to play each other in the first round, Kevin. It's, you know what I mean? I know people are going to want to see Caitlin and Angel, blah, blah, and it's going to turn into a political hotbed and blah, blah, and all that crap. So I'd like to see both teams sort of just get to play basketball and avoid that stuff,
I do think, though, to the point now, you and I have talked a little bit about, playing the Lynx to win the title, and
can't do it with those odds.
It's not only the odds, though, but all
Dodgers tied the game, everybody. Dodgers just tied 3-3.
All right, there you go. Back end of the lineup doing some work there. But, Gabe, with the Lynx, I don't know if they're just kind of slow playing it because of their record, but they're getting hurt at the wrong time. Courtney Williams missing a game. Nafisha still misses time, right? Sometimes teams are snake bitten, man. And I just... At that price, you have to trust the health 1,000%. And I'm not sure I trust their health. We can all agree they're the best team, But guys, the best team doesn't always win. That's not how that works. You know?
No, you're right.
So
No, we see that time and time again. You're right about injuries, fatigue. Vegas seemed tired to me. I know, like, they can, it's not the playoffs yet and all that type of stuff, but
it's a good take.
Still. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, Kevin, they've been in the finals, like, so much, bro.
They've
won 3 of the last 4 finals. It's catching up to them. Asia Wilson's
you
still
told
great,
the
but
Aces,
they're just slower and tired. You could just
you're
see.
the 4th seed.
They look old.
You get a month off, they'd be like, sick, dude. This is a waste of our time.
Yeah, like the Lakers
really
in the
is.
bubble. You're right. You go into a bubble, a COVID bubble, and the Aces will win. Like, no travel, no nothing. We're going to play the playoffs in like a 3-week span. Bang, bang, we're banging this off.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I get where you're going, but like, just that age, you know what I mean, Kevin? You could see it. They're just getting a little worn out a lot. They're always trailing in games. They got to come back. Like,
boring isn't the right word, but it just is like, okay, whatever. Like, we keep losing to Minnesota. We
they struggled against the Tempo the other night when I wasn't in town. Thank God I didn't go to that game. I was out of town, but you saw that everybody was out for the Tempo, and they gave Vegas all they can handle.
You know what? Is that a good thing you didn't go? They covered.
Yeah, they won on Friday. But I was going to go to the Sunday game against the Aces. I wasn't going to. They beat Portland. It's funny, like out of all games they finally won. They won it. They won the game in Vancouver. The crowds were really good. The fans ate it up. They were like, the players liked it and stuff. They're going to be back next year, so and all that. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying the Atlanta Dream are going to win the WNBA championship. I'm not going that far. I'm just stating that they're a dangerous
You're not saying
team
they
for
can't.
real. No,
You're
they're
not
a
saying
dangerous
they can't.
team. But it's that first round matchup, though. It's that first round matchup. Because the Dream and Fever are just sort of stuck playing each other right now. They got to break it up somehow. And it's basically either the Fever or the Dream can overtake the Aces for the 3 seed, and then suddenly the Aces fall into that 4 hole.
I'll tell you what, though. You want to talk about good TV, man. Like a Dream Liberty. Then again, I guess the league would much rather Dream Fever Aces Liberty round 1, right? Yeah, the league would love that. The league would love that.
It's usually a 2-horse race. Houston or Jacksonville, with Indy on the outside looking in. We're going to find out, I think, rather quickly in the first month, because the scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. And do yourself a favor. Now is the time to start prepping. You talk about contests, Craig, right? Survivor is all about planning.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
I do not think that history suggests the best thing for a quarterback is to start week 1. Obviously, you need reps, but we have seen guys sit and benefit from it. I think Anthony Richardson might have a completely different, couldn't have been any worse if the Colts didn't play him his rookie season as the rawest quarterback ever drafted. Like, that didn't help.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Ohtani, he's going to be the MVP. The PCA argument, I completely understand. If he ends up winning it, I'm not going to be surprised. And I do think it'll be somewhat of the fatigue as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking back, Tom, you and I, 10 years and talking about a player in baseball doing what Ohtani's doing and not winning the MVP. I mean, it seems crazy to me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Amen, man. Back to you all here on SportsGrid on that Tuesday night style. Kevin Walsh, Gabe Morency, following the action, talking a little Heisman Trophy. I'm in the streets trying to find Week 0 Saturday picks. Gabe isn't even in the streets. He's in the alleys trying to find Thursday night FCS picks.
I like the inside.
He will be successful.
I like the inside tip that we got, though, from New Jersey. Mom, this offense, a little slow so far in training camp. Defense ahead of the offense. Tell you what, we got a total of 57.5 in that football game, but that game is Saturday. So we got time. We got time for that game, but you're right. I'm already digging in right now to Thursday's slate, and I do see a couple of spots here, actually, that intrigue me. Some pretty big numbers. Youngstown State are hosting Mercyhurst. They're like 27.5. Youngstown State, one of the better FCS teams in the country. Chattanooga and West Georgia, an interesting game. Eastern Illinois and Murray State. Number seems a little weird here at 2.5. Gardner-Webb and Austin Peay's a good one. Like I said, we have some interesting games on Thursday. But Central Arkansas and Tennessee Martin, probably the game of the night. LIU Brooklyn, Kevin, actually go to North Dakota. North Dakota lane 27.5. Villanova lay 12.5 to William and Mary. That's on
What's
Friday.
The story on line availability for this stuff, Gabe? Like, no worry.
It's highly available. It's highly available. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere.
All right. Fair enough.
Idaho and Cal Poly. That's Friday. That's going to be a fun game. 55.5. Idaho Vandals at Cal Poly. It's going to be a good one.
I'll poke around. We'll see what we got. Where's that? The FCS level, you're talking?
Yeah, these are the Thursday and Friday games. FCS, and then the first.
Games. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what you got? And different books have different codes for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to go under all games sometimes, or FCS. You got to sort of poke around a bit. But we've got, we're going to be on starting this Saturday. We'll be on at noon Eastern with the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart. And our first game up will be North Carolina and TCU, Kevin. That's the first sort of, that's the first big conference heavy game. We're from Dublin, Ireland. Mm-hmm. Saturday at noon, TCU lays 7.5 points against Bill Belichick's North Carolina Tar Heels. And then you've got a bunch of sort of the other games as well. Robert Morris and Wagner, Central Connecticut, South Dakota. Then 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, the USC Trojans lay 38.5 to San Jose State.
That number's been climbing. That total has been climbing. The idea is USC are just going to throw 50 up.
I've got it. I've got numbers, Kevin, right here. I'm all ready to go. Let's rock. Jade Maeva, over under 2.5 touchdown passes. Over 2.5, minus 130. Love it.
I'm not saying he can't. I just went through
he'll do it in the first half.
Well, yeah, because I don't know how much he's going to really play in the second half.
Oh, he'll play in the second half.
Lincoln takes a lot of. Well, if he plays in the second half, you like a close ball game here? You like the 38.5?
No. I think Lincoln, they're going to leave. No. Lincoln Riley's on the warpath, bro. Lincoln Riley's USC are going to mess people up that they can. This is an angry football team. He's an angry coach. He's got a superstar-laden offense that are ready to punch people in the mouth. And he's opening up with San Jose State. I wouldn't want to be the kids on San Jose State. Not like Lincoln Riley's the nicest guy, Kevin. He's not going to take the pedal off the metal. I expect Jaden to play into the fourth quarter. They'll take him out when it's 55-7 type thing. And that might be a bit extreme because San Jose can play a bit, right? So it's a little extreme. I like Maeva's numbers almost more than the 38.5. But I think that makes a lot of sense.
I am likely to end up on a San Jose State team total over. The USC numbers are just, I saw a team total today, 49.5. I'm not betting that. I'm not betting over 60.5. I understand. It's what if USC scores 63? Good for them. I don't care. The San Jose State team total, I believe, I haven't bet it yet, and 9.5, minus 130. Luke Weaver going to get the start. Hawaii transfer. Comfortable in the offense. They're looking to run here.
It's a lot of points.
Weaknesses. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, Gabe.
They could get backdoors. That's the thing when you lay that type. You lay that type of number.
Absolutely.
Look, last
wanna be
year,
up 35 at the half, don't you? To feel comfortable about your bet?
put it in context, last year USC opened up with Missouri State, and they beat them 73-13. Then they hosted Georgia Southern, and they beat them 59-20.
Up.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
What Michigan have to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live on a Tuesday night. Again, that college football fever is rampant. We are also here, though, on a night where I have declared the Seattle Mariners my new pick to win the World Series. New bet, I should say. Like, ultimately, if they meet, let's just say the Brewers, can I promise you I'll like Seattle to win that series? I'm not sure. But I think 40-1 is a really nice number. And there were a few things that got Seattle, another one.
Seattle-Milwaukee World Series, like picking a Detroit Lion, Buffalo Bill, like World Series, or like it's the most improbable thing ever.
It's the thing that everyone did 2 years ago, so I'm not worried about it. Everybody thought it was going to be Bills, Lions 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you sort of have to know. I almost want to say it again this year. There's going to be Bills and Lions, but you almost have to know. Like, it's amazing. The Seahawks have never made the World Series before. Like, it's pretty crazy, like that they've been around this long that they've never win one. And Milwaukee, long time ago, right? Milwaukee did make the World Series. Was against the Detroit Tigers. That was a long ass time ago, man. You know what I mean? Like, I was a kid. Like, it's one of those, like San Diego's another one. There's just certain teams, like, they don't do it. They never do. Buffalo Bills, unfortunately, are one of those teams. Detroit Lions, Chargers. It's a long list of losers.
I don't think
list of losers.
Listen, at the end of the day, things are meant to be broken, and I think the Mariners present the best
your Notre Dame
value
Fighting
on the board.
Irish haven't won a championship in a long time. I'm just saying.
Yes, that's great.
What year was it? Tony Rice and Lou Holtz.
Oh gosh, yeah, million.
And it beat Major Harris in West Virginia. It was like 1989
championship though. They've been poking around. They've been knocking on the door, Gabe.
It's been
Just
47 years for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame winning a national
years.
title more recently than an SEC school. People don't talk about that. Everyone likes to make
been.
it Big Ten versus the SEC.
I'll throw one at you since you like stuff like this. A Pac-12 team has been in the playoffs. And in the championship.
Yeah, that's a good
Washington
one.
Huskies lost to Michigan.
I really appreciate Big Ten people embracing Washington for that reason. Like, oh, look at this dominance, and they act like Washington was in the Big Ten.
They've always sort of been Michigan of the West. There's sort of a acknowledgement. Like, if anyone could sort of fit, it was Washington. Just geographically, it didn't fit, right? Like, in Washington are kind of like always sort of felt like a Big Ten type of team. USC and UCLA, still feels a little bit strange at times, but you feel the same way. I'm telling you guys, this USC team is really dangerous. People, everyone, once you're a coach, you become, Lincoln Riley this and and all that type of stuff, but it's not easy to win overnight, right? Yeah, Signetti went to Indiana and stuff, but Lincoln was in a weird spot. He didn't want to move Oklahoma. He wasn't down with that SEC stuff. He had a good thing going, right? He's in the Big 12. He's going to the championship game. He's winning Heisman trophies. Eventually, he would have won one of these games in the playoffs, and he would have won a championship. He doesn't want to go to the SEC. He knows that's going to be death. So he bails. He goes to USC, and then USC turn around and join the freaking Big Ten.
Tough scene.
And it changed the way you had to recruit guys, right? Like, he was an offensive guy. You can win offense in some of these conferences. You can in the Big Ten. So it's taken him years to sort of build up that defense.
I wonder if he would have been better off staying at OU instead of having to go through all the changes and stuff and just play in the SEC. I do wonder, what the
they'd be a power now. They'd be right there. They'd be like Texas or whatever. You know what I mean? They were right there. Like
made the playoffs. If you think about it, right? Without him, before USC made the playoffs, OU were in the playoffs last year.
Were Oklahoma in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, remember they blew that huge lead to Alabama? Gabe, yes.
That's right.
Stop. This is not like you bet too many games, Gabe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like irrelevant, though. It's like, I don't know.
Exactly. I know. But I like that you're like, no, that didn't happen.
Well, you're the Notre Dame guy, so you would know more. You'd be like, you know what I mean? But so that's right. Because, the SEC wins in the playoffs came against other SEC teams. That's it. Yes. They came against other SEC teams.
That got let in front of Notre Dame, that Notre Dame were better than.
I'm like,
tell you them.
All right,
it's almost a lot. List all the players that got drafted. You know what I mean?
See, I'm going to twist this into Michigan, Kevin. And Michigan are a lock to make the playoffs because it's going to be reversed. Michigan will beat Oklahoma this year. Michigan will have at least 9 wins, and they'll get in. There it is.
In all seriousness, though, truly, in all seriousness, it is impossible to see the loser of that game making the playoff, in my opinion. When you look at the remaining schedule,
they're in a very difficult situation after. No, I can't. I can't not. Yes, they both have killer schedules.
Yeah,
absolutely devastating. They have schedules that are so difficult that 3 losses will get them in.
Yeah,
right. So and everyone knows that.
There's a good chance.
I've even heard
a good chance.
Yeah, exactly. If you get blown out your 3 losses, no. You know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying. So, you're right. That game is that's so critical. But just looking at USC's schedule, we talked about it. They're opening up with San Jose State. They're 38.5-point favorites. They're going to be 28.5-point favorites against Fresno, whatever. Maybe a little lighter, 24.5. Louisiana at USC. That's not going to end well for the Raging Cajuns. Perfect soft landing for USC here, Kevin. Their first Big Ten road game of the year, September the 19th, at Rutgers. Saturday afternoon game, 3:30 at Rutgers. Then it sets it up. They host the USC Trojans the following Saturday. So they're going to be 5-0 hosting the Oregon Ducks. Oregon Ducks at USC, Sunday, September the 26th. And then it gets real, though, Kevin. Then, man, they play the Oregon Ducks in L.A., then they play the Washington Huskies in L.A. the week later. Then they go to Penn State.
Yeah.
Like I said, this could become a freight train, right? They could lose to the Ducks if they bounce back with Washington and Penn State, 1 loss and you're back on track.
Mm-hmm.
They do host USC. USC hosts Ohio State. on Halloween, October the 31st. Could be a very big game, Kevin, that game.
Yeah, I think for me, going through this USC schedule, I'm someone who really believes they can beat Oregon. I don't, as of today, love them in the Ohio State spot. I'm pretty sure the Buckeyes took a bye week before the game, which is really unfortunate for the Trojans. And I think USC, based on, like, they took a bye week before playing Indiana. I feel like to give themselves their best chance to win that game.
Well, they're coming off Ohio State, too. What a devastating. This is the thing with USC. Opinion,
I'd rather come off a bye and host Ohio State, where they have a better chance, in my opinion, to beat Ohio State than Indiana, even if Ohio State are better than Indiana. It's that
the problem is with the Indiana game, I don't like that date, November the 14th. Not ideal if you're USC. No, you've got to get used to it. You're USC, but really the only time that USC ever played in bad weather in their lives was the one game a year at Notre Dame every 2 years. Or excuse me, one game, you know what I mean, every 2 years at Notre Dame. They 100%. Get some bad weather once in a while. Yeah. They didn't play bad weather games. They played in the rain a bit, and even that they didn't do well. Like, they would struggle when they go to Washington State. It'd be pouring rain or whatever. They've gotten better at it. You know what I mean? They've gotten more physical, but it's not an ideal situation. So, same with like the Bills Dolphins. There's certain times of the year you want to get certain teams if you know you're playing them. And when are we playing them? Getting, like I said, you get Ohio State and Los Angeles. You get a lot of these teams in LA, which helps. But that trip, I tell you, to Indiana November 14th looms large. And the last game against UCLA could be a landmine too, because I think Chesney and UCLA are going to be a fun team this year.
I think the problem is Lincoln Riley's group feel like a group that are very live to be upset somewhere, right? At Penn State or who knows, man.
Oh, definitely
right?
on the road. Well, they lost last year to Illinois, that one, 34-32. And that was earlier in the year. So they are vulnerable.
You could argue they make the playoff if they win that game. If you go back and run through that USC schedule. Again, it's still one game to swing your season.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
What Michigan have to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on SportsGrid, and the moment that everyone has been waiting for almost happened. I listened. I heard, oh! I looked up. I saw Vlad was at the plate because obviously I'm on delay. But nothing came after the, So what it meant was a very loud fly out.
Another deep fly ball. Where it looked like he launched in the first, Kevin. I fell for it.
Louis Arise Jr., as they know him pretty well. This guy's got no pop, man. What do you want? That's all there is to it. He's got no pop.
He's called Vlad. Louis Arise Jr. Number one, he ain't Louis Arise Jr. because he doesn't hit 340 every year.
Yeah, you're right. A little nice of me. Little nice of me. It's a good point by you.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that. So if you were around, like you would be ragging on like Tony Gwynn and Suzuki and stuff for hitting singles in those days.
No. You were right, Gabe. You're right. Those guys were hitting 320, 330. This guy Vlad stinks.
Well, 400.
Great point by you. Great point.
No, but Vlad's hitting 261. But I got to tell you, that 7 home runs really sticks out like a sore thumb on the screen, Kevin. Man, like
it's nuts.
Wow,
it's crazy.
He can't hit a home run at home either. It's just, and it's not. He's come close
218 at-bats coming into tonight. 218 at-bats.
And remember we got into the calendar year thing. Right? Remember the calendar year thing? It's been more than a year in a couple of weeks now. In this stadium.
He had 8 home runs last year in 18 games in the playoffs. Last year's postseason, he had 8 home runs. He's got 7.
But I've defended him. And I'm not like throwing him under the bus here so much, but I could defend him more, Kevin, if he had 7 home runs, but he was hitting 313.
Sure.
You know what I mean? To be like, I don't know, the ball's just not going over the fence, but he's having a good year, and it just is what it is. But
like my
261,
my new boy, Cal Raleigh, has 17. Like, come on now. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I believe that he's up to set. So you're telling me Cal Raleigh has 20 hits on the season and 17 of them are home runs? Because I can't believe he's got 17 home runs.
Pretty much. I think
how many hits does he have? Like 50 or something?
Just tied. He's got 58 hits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So in other words, like almost half of his at-bats are home runs. Either like, all right, I'm going to like do nothing. Pretty much modern
he's
baseball.
Red hot. Over his last 15 days, he's batting 211. He's red hot. I mean, he's red hot, this guy.
If you guys and Kevin brought it up earlier in the show, if you're just joining us, but I brought it up a couple of weeks ago, actually, because I saw it was, and now it's not Vlad's fault, but pass ball at first base. So runner off first here for Kansas City, but you brought it up. Seattle's schedule is manageable down the stretch, but you can say the same thing about every damn team in the American League because they all suck. Well, not
can
suck,
I tell you
but
what
they've all underachieved for the most part, so they're all playing each other. So does it really matter? Like, you know what I mean? That whole stuff about, Seattle, Toronto, whatever. Toronto, Kansas City are hot suddenly right now. They've won 8 of their last 9.
Yes, they have. I think this is a fair thing to say, and I think you'll agree with this, Gabe. Because you're right. A lot of teams have easy schedules remaining. To me, it is the fact that the Mariners, they have 30 games remaining entering into today. 14 of them are against the Athletics and Angels. The 2 worst teams in the American League by far.
That's a lot of games.
Like, Gabe, that's half of the games left. Half. Like, it's not like, because again, you could not be more spot on, right? Where it's like, wait, is our schedule that easy? Like, if we play the Astros or if we play the Guardians, it's like, they're under 5. Or like, for example, the Mariners' next series, I believe, is actually against Toronto, who are an under 500 team. That's not an easy series. I'm not saying that's an easy series. What I'm saying is, Gabe, what should they, or I'll put it to you a different way. Let me ask you this. Just because you're favorite does not mean you're going to win. Out of the 14 games against the Angels and Athletics, how many of them will the Mariners be favorites in?
Every one of them.
That's valuable.
That's valuable. They will be. I guess the question is, how many do you have to win to capitalize on it?
At least
it's
10?
like, all right, we got 14. That's what I was thinking. 10-4, you could walk away. That was good. We won 10. You got to be realistic about it. Can't say, all right, we're going to go 12-2 against these teams.
Yeah,
it's baseball.
14-0,
Stuff's
no
gonna happen.
problem. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like 8-6 would be a little frustrating. I think 9-5, 10-4. I think they would set the bar at like 9. If we go 9-5 here, we can live with it. And it's a plus, plus net negative type of thing here. But you can't take anybody for granted, right? You get call-ups, you get unknown players. Suddenly they get hot. Their first at bat, kid hits 3 home runs or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Stuff happens. No doubt.
I think that was.
And also, bad teams at times. Clubhouses change as the year goes on, right? A month ago, Kansas City, exactly. Like their clubhouse was dead and they were frustrated and they know they're screwed still, but they're having fun now. They're winning, right? They're winning. And there's no tanking in baseball. They're all like, we're trying to get a better draft pick for we get that. You know what I mean? They're 100%. All like, I want to put my numbers up, that number one, and you just see their clubhouse. They're having a good time right now. So the standings don't really matter. Like right now, the Blue Jay dugout is the tense one, not the Royal one. That's another thing, too. All 100%. The pressure, Kevin, is on that other team, bro, that they're the ones that are like, oh, my God, we're down 2-0 in this game. We can't lose this game. We can't lose this series. And then, the other team's sort of like, man, we're just having fun. We're just playing baseball. I'm glad to be in the big leagues.
And let's be real, even if it's maybe irrational, I'm sure the Royals think, we won 8 in a row. Well, I don't know. We're 8
why
back.
Not win another 8 in a row? Yeah, if they're thinking exactly, why not win another 8 in a row? Exactly. We're back.
And I just think
man,
that's
they dug
why.
Themselves all. Your Tiger's starting to fade a little bit here, though. 4.5.
Oh yeah. Oh, bad. Really bad. They've lost 6 straight.
Losers of 6 in a row now.
Their season ended when they got swept by the White Sox. It felt bad in real time, but it really was the end of the road. They got swept by Chicago. They entered that series. I think if it was reversed, Gabe, if they would have pulled off a sweep, I think they would have been like tied for first place. And they just buried
Cleveland,
and they haven't been able to shake it.
Cleveland are the hot ones right now. 5-game win streak. We liked them last night. We talked about it. And suddenly the Jays are down 2-1. Kansas City have runners on first and third. We're in the 6th inning only here. And the Jays could find themselves losing a game tonight.
Like the worst time to play the Royals, right? Like this easy schedule. You're like, oh no, we're playing Kansas City. Like someone bring us Tampa Bay. Like someone bring us Tampa Bay.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
What Michigan have to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
All right, guys, let's put some picks on the board as we get out of here, man. Fun Tuesday night, really flew by. Just because, you kind of never know where some of this live baseball is going to take us, and I don't want to miss out on any of the action here. I'm involved with some of this late baseball. I am part of the reason I bet the Mariners also like today is I like them against the Phillies. Like that was an impressive win against Wheeler. I think they win again. I think that number is going to continue to move. And then I played a couple of unders. I played an 8.5 in Fott Holmes. That's D-backs and Chicago. And then I played an under 7 in the Angels and Guardians. That's Gavin Williams getting the baseball in LA against Urena. So an under 7, an under 8.5, and then the Mariners on the money line game, late night baseball for me.
I've noticed you bypassed the Paul Skeens Pittsburgh-San Diego game.
I did. I didn't know what to do with it.
What do we do with it? We bet against them.
Okay.
Right? They pushed him back. They delayed his start. He ended up going 4 to third only in his last start. I mean, something's up here, Kevin. The guy can't, they're taking him out of games even when he's not getting lit up like they're concerned. San Diego, really? I mean, we got a team, San Diego, right in the mix right now. Some enthusiasm with their crazy new ownership group taking over here. We got King on the hill here tonight. Got a much better baseball team on their home field that should be bigger favorites, but it's because of Skeens' name. But you can kind of see where the market doesn't respect Skeens much anymore, right? Skeens used to be, overpriced. Now it's sort of reality is kicking in a little bit. But I do like San Diego to get to Skeens. I'm not saying Skeens gets lit up, but I don't think, I could be wrong. But even if, let's say Skeens pitches 5 innings of shutout baseball, they can still lose the damn game. So give me San Diego tonight. That's the baseball game that catches my eye tonight. Yeah. WNBA, you talked about not really loving the card tonight, and I feel you with that. Do we have a high-scoring game, though? 50-37 at the half with the Wings and the Fire right now, Kevin. But you talked about it with Kelsey Plum and the Phoenix Mercury. And this team, really, they've gone back to their losing ways. They're not winning basketball games. Washington have shown an ability to win on the road. Give me the Mystics on the money line tonight, and give me the Mystics and the Mercury to go over the number. 167.5 in the modern WNBA is a very manageable number. We don't get totals this low normally. I'm going to bet the over.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I was fortunate enough that I didn't run back the over in that Lynx game. And look, these are really tricky spots. I actually got pretty annoyed because tomorrow, Gabe, the Valkyries play the Sun. I thought that game was tonight. I was like, oh my God, great spot to fade Golden State off that big win, back-to-back. But the Sun are playing tonight, and they're the ones on the back-to-back tomorrow. So that's very difficult. We have a tempo game. Tempo games. Gabe will handle this tomorrow.
Well,
tempo games are going to look very different from now on, guys. They are in full tank mode. And no one's blaming them. No one is blaming them. But this team snuck one more win in there, and that's all she wrote. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's resting. Kiki Rice is the one now on the top billing. She might have the highest player prop tomorrow for a tempo game. So that's going to be kind of new territory for us to walk into. We'll handle that
16.5, just for the record. I like Laura Giuschetti tomorrow, over 12.5. We're already on top of this.
There we go. You knew he would
tempo.
Be. You knew he would be. We're going to have the baseball board. And look, we're getting, pretty close as well to another round of NFL preseason here. Today, the amount of updates that I got, I have a fantasy football league I co-manage
Jamar Chase,
with.
I'm sure you're aware.
Chase, Ken Walker, Chris Olave.
Calvin
what's
Austin.
Happening? I'm like, should we just cancel practices? What is going on? It feels like everyone's just left, right.
That's the thing. People talk about all the preseason games. They're useless and they don't matter. Why do we do this? But it's not the preseason games. It's the practices that are getting players all the time. And it's usually non-contact, just sort of freak injuries. And Blue Jays in complete meltdown mode. They're down 4-1. Suddenly this total's in play again, though. It's 4-1 Royals. We're in the top of the 6th. But, here's a pass ball. The Royals bunted. It was hard for the dude, but he got it after his 3rd or 4th attempt. He got a bunt down, and then the Blue Jays threw the ball into the outfield. The defense has been complete meltdown defensively, and Kansas City have a 4-1. They nearly dropped a pop fly before. It's really struggling suddenly. They get out of the inning. We're going to the bottom of the 6th, 4-1 right now.
I will just I'll add one thing. Kareem Hunt, leave Isaiah Pacheco alone, man. You saw Kareem Hunt working out for the Detroit Lions. I understand Pacheco got injured. Leave that man alone. Let him back up Jahmyr Gibbs in peace. All right? He left Kansas City. Go stay in KC and be their bowling ball to Ken Walker. Enough's enough with this Kareem Hunt gimmick. How's that still going on? Guy can't even run for like 6 yards a pop. See you tomorrow.
It's usually a two-horse race. Houston or Jacksonville, with Indy on the outside looking in. We're going to find out, I think, rather quickly in the first month because the scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. And do yourself a favor. Now is the time to start prepping. You talk about contests, Craig, right? Survivor is all about planning.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
I do not think that history suggests the best thing for a quarterback is to start week one. Obviously, you need reps, but we have seen guys sit and benefit from it. I think Anthony Richardson might have a completely different, couldn't have been any worse if the Colts didn't play him his rookie season as the rawest quarterback ever drafted. That didn't help.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
His height, how hard he could throw it, didn't matter. How do you communicate it? How do you look at these guys in the face? An old 10-year vet, right guard over there, and a 9-year tackle that's been. How you gonna look that old man in the face and convince him, hey guys, we're gonna get ready to go down the field. We're gonna score here. Because that's what the great ones do. They walk in the huddle and everybody goes, okay, it's time, let's go.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Ohtani, he's going to be the MVP. The PCA argument, I completely understand. If he ends up winning it, I'm not going to be surprised. I do think it'll be somewhat of the fatigue as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine looking back, Tom, you and I, 10 years and talking about a player in baseball doing what Ohtani's doing and not winning the MVP. I mean, it seems crazy to me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The show is about